Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 News. With the British Grand Prix coming up this weekend, a lot of teams have targeted Silverstone as the place to bring a load of new upgrades to their car. Mercedes, Alpine, Williams, apparently with major upgrades in the works, Red Bull and Ferrari not so much. Will that change the pecking order this upcoming weekend? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. First of all, I thought it was rather funny from Williams, because happy birthday Nikki, if you guys are watching this tomorrow on the 30th, and it will be yesterday, there was Latifi's birthday. But funny really, because despite it being his birthday, they seem to be not giving him, the best possible car they could have this weekend, because apparently there's a substantial upgrade package in the works here for Williams. They reckon, according to the situation and depending on the track, it should be worth, according to Lawrence Barretto, a second in qualifying, which is obviously quite a substantial gain. If they can put a second on their rivals, which seems very optimistic, but if they could, then they'd all of a sudden be in the points every single race effectively, so that'd be rather exciting for Albon if it's possible. Apparently it's only him that's actually going to get this upgrade this weekend. Does remind me a bit, in fairness, of when kind of the Bahrain spec, or at least the side podless Mercedes was announced or kind of revealed or rumoured, when it was apparently going to be a second a lap quicker than the Barcelona spec one with the kind of traditional side pods. That's what they said. Now, look, in reality, it probably wasn't that much difference, if at all, given what their car looked like at the start of the year. But they said in simulations, their current Mercedes was a second a lap quicker than the one they had at the Barcelona test back in February or whatever it was. So maybe it's a similar thing here where it's meant to be a second quicker. Does it actually deliver? That, of course, remains to be seen. But yeah, apparently it's only Albon that's going to have this, but seemingly, again, it's along the same lines as the Red Bull concept. So we'll see what happens here, right? Because look, at the end of the day, if every single team is going to start turning up here with copies of the Red Bull, apart from the Mercedes and the Ferrari, then that's going to be rather interesting. But look, it makes sense that teams are going to try and have a look at what Red Bull are playing at right now, because their design philosophy seems to be the best on the grid. Obviously, Aston Martin have had good success copying it effectively, and Williams might be trying to do the same thing, but it's only going to Alex Albon despite it being the TV's birthday. They're saying, no, look, Albon's the only one who gets it, to check its behaviour and confirm it's working as intended, which maybe is understandable, but at the same time, they're going to give their upgrade package to the number one driver on the team. It kind of makes sense. The TV's going to be gone before long, to our understanding, but yeah, who knows what's going to happen here, right? Yeah, of course, the traditional Red Bulls, the actual Red Bull team, then you've got the Alpha Tauri team, you've got the green Red Bull, which is the Aston Martin, you've got the blue Red Bull, which of course I suppose is the Williams. Like, yeah, this might be what the grid looks like by the time we get to the end of the year. We shall see about that one. Now, of course, let's talk Mercedes, right? Because Williams are upgrading another Mercedes, engine car, but Mercedes are also looking to upgrade as well. Silverstone has been good to us in the past. We've had some track improvements coming. It's a smoother track. We're aiming to make another step forward. So kind of like Spain, I'm pretty sure Mercedes are thinking that this track should suit their car better than others do. It might be their best chance so far this season to actually mix it up with the Red Bulls and the Ferraris for, qualifying on the front row, actually getting on a podium on merit, let's just say, not just because other teams finish outside the points, and have DNFs and the like as well. So we'll see if Mercedes can get more competitive, but they certainly are planning to. Apparently, Mercedes and Alpine both have a pretty significant upgrade coming, worth around 0.2 of a second. Of course, early part of the season, we saw that, rumoured upgrades, 0.3 of a second, something like that. So as the cars get quicker and quicker over the year, it's harder to make that much of a step. And Mercedes reckon whatever new bits they're bringing, they talked about last week in their kind of post-race Montreal debrief, saying that, yeah, they have some things in the works. Apparently, they reckon they can gain 0.2 of a second. Now, it's not like Red Bull are going to sit still either, because yes, Horner said a couple of days ago that there's no major upgrades planned for the next few races. Red Bull are not just going to sit there and not bring any new things. Like, they're still going to bring some things, and also when their kind of parts on the car come to the end of the lifespan, make new parts with lighter weight, and therefore they can save some time just on pure weight saving, which seemingly is their plan as well. But yeah, Mercedes reckon, or at least it is rumoured right now, that a 0.2 of a second benefit might be had this weekend at Silverstone, plus the benefit of the smoother track might mean that we have a competitive front row. I'm still not convinced they're going to be able to challenge Ferrari and Red Bull on pure pace, but it might be closer than we've seen in quite some time. They're reasonably close, 3-4 tenths off in Montreal, but still there are some concerns from the Mercedes guys, even as George Russell says here, the Cops Corner. Like, in this year's cars, I'm not sure they're going to be flat anyway. I saw a lap that Jana Watme did, I think is his name, in this year's F1 2022 game, whatever, and he reckoned that it's probably not flat out in this year's car through Cops anyway. Like, even if you're not considering the kind of bouncing problems. That was kind of the issue that was noticed in Spain, that the bouncing disappears for them on the straights, but in the corners, that's where it kind of comes back, this bouncing effect that they're kind of suffering with. So, maybe in Cops, it's going to be a big issue. Is it going to hurt them there in that corner? We'll see. Like, if the cars are not particularly easy to control, we could have another repeat of Hamilton Verstappen last year. Who knows? But Russell isn't necessarily convinced that this upgrade's going to take him back to the top, but he did also say in an interview that he wants his first kind of podium here at Silverstone to be on the top step of the podium. We'll see if that's plausible this weekend with the car that they have. Now, Ferrari also not going to be sitting back and doing nothing at all. They are bringing some updates to Silverstone, apparently adaptations to the circuit. Now, one of the key points here actually is that Charles Leclerc used a new rear wing, an unloaded rear wing, which, of course, the idea was at the start of the season, the main deficit that Ferrari really had and still has to this day is the straight line speed to Red Bull. Now, they managed to reduce that deficit back at Montreal by having on Charles Leclerc's car kind of a new updated rear wing. They didn't have that on Sainz's car ready, because I'm pretty sure if they ran it on Sainz's car and he was to crash in qualifying, they just didn't have another one to replace it with. Therefore, like, if he was to crash, they wouldn't have been able to, I don't even know what they'd have done in the race. They've had to take a penalty or something because they wouldn't have been able to change that kind of rear wing. Whereas in Leclerc's case, because they only had one of them though, they were like, okay, we'll put it on anyway, because if he crashes or something and we have to replace it with the old one, then he's going to start at the back, and he's starting at the back anyway due to the engine penalty. So that's why they didn't do it in Montreal in Canada, but I mean, they are going to do it this time around. So they reckon that's going to give them a bit of an advantage, especially on the straights. When it comes to consistently challenging the Red Bull, it did kind of feel like Sainz didn't really quite have the straight line speed, even with the DRS advantage against Verstappen, to actually catch him up and overtake him towards the end of that race. Now, Red Bull also looking to do something, right? So they're apparently bringing some updates, not as significantly large as Williams, Alpine, and possibly Mercedes is now the information. So yeah, apparently they're going to bring some things, but not all that much. I'm pretty sure weight saving is still on their agenda, like their kind of DRS actuator or something has been causing them issues. They might want to bring a new one of those. Like a few things, nothing major though, to the point where potentially Ferrari and Mercedes, even though who knows how Alpine are going to do in their new package, like it could somehow be competitive this weekend. Would be exciting, especially if it's going to rain again, which is also a possibility this weekend. Speaking on McLaren, real quick, of course, another kind of home team here, I suppose. Of course, Lando Norris going to look to have a good home race here in Silverstone, has actually had to put the handbrakes on development due to the budget cap of the car, right? So of course the rumor has had it that they're kind of looking more towards next year's cars than this year's car, but I mean, yeah, still we'll see how it goes on this one, because the budget cap is a big discussion right now. Of course, it's mainly been Christian Horner kind of talking about it every single week at this point, but even Andreas Seidel discussing it as well. There's that they can't develop as much as they would like to due to the kind of restriction of the budget cap, especially. It's been harshly dealt by it for a lot of these teams, you could argue, due to increase in shipping costs and stuff, due to inflation and all the stuff that's going on in the world. So there might still be room for maneuver here by the FIA, but a lot of teams are still saying, look, that's the budget cap, it is what it is, we all knew what it was, like unlucky lads, you just got to deal with it effectively, which is what some teams are trying to do, but it is probably going to affect development by some teams, especially as the season continues to develop. And just as we close out the video then, because of course as well, Eric just mentioned the possibility of rain this coming weekend in Silverstone. I just had a quick look at what Google Weather decides to say right here, and apparently this is on Saturday at the Silverstone circuit. There's a reasonable likelihood of during the middle of the day that it actually does rain. Not guaranteed, of course, like whenever it looks like this, it probably just won't, but also Sunday reckons rain as well. So we'll see how it goes. Could be a very exciting affair all weekend long. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.